And welcome back to SA Sports Show, my segment. It's Blast from the Past, and I've got Brett Blackwell, fellow McGarry medalist. Welcome.
Thanks, Ando. Thanks for having me.
Hervey Bay. Brought up Hervey Bay, and obviously in Brisbane, Queensland, it's a rugby league state. How'd you then sneak into the Aussie Rules program?
Yeah, a little bit different. I guess growing up watching rugby league, I still now, people ask who do you follow in the football, and for me it's the Brisbane Broncos and rugby league mad, State of Origin coming up soon. So yeah, love my rugby league, but my father played Australian rules football and was pretty successful. So it was always something I wanted to do. Yeah. We had limited opportunities to do it. But when I got to play, we took the most of it.
And so, from that there, I think did you play with your father's club as well? Because your father played...
Yeah, I went and during high school, they would drive me to Brisbane, which is 5 hour drive.
Oh, wow.
So at 16, 17, I played half a season with West Brisbane, Western Districts, which are the Bulldogs, where he played. And then they ended up winning the premiership and folding. And then the year after, I moved to Brisbane as a 17-year-old and played for the Northern Eagles in the QAFL.
And you enjoyed that?
Windsor Zilmere.
Okay, fantastic. Obviously, then you had an opportunity with the Carlton Football Club. How did that all come about? Yeah,
just through the draft. I was captain or vice captain of the state under-18 team.
Oh, the Teal Cup?
Teal Cup.
Yep.
And we actually played that year in Adelaide. So I came down and played here and got a few funny stories about that. And then, I was lucky enough to get drafted by the Carlton Footy Club and moved to Melbourne and, had a good time.
You were pretty successful, though, in your period in Queensland. I think you got the medal or runner-up to the medal up in the Queensland League, which is fantastic. You came down and played for Carlton and you made your debut, which was fantastic. But you also had a bit of a time in the first year or so of playing in the VFL, which I think you got second or third in the VFL medal as well.
Second.
You got second there, and then, of course...
one at the year after.
And then one at the year after. Wow. Your debut game for Carlton must have been something very, very special.
Yeah, special for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Obviously, you dream of playing AFL footy. Coming from Hervey Bay, there's, I don't think at that stage we had traffic lights in Hervey Bay. So you move from there to Melbourne... Round 1, 1999, debuting against your old mob Essendon at the MCG with 90+ thousand people. And for a little kid that didn't really know how to get there, to get stuck in a traffic jam and turn up late to your first game of AFL footy was pretty daunting. So, never forget, parked on Swanson Street, listening to Triple M, and I'll never forget Jason Dunstall saying, and the Carlton boys are running out in the ground for their warm-up. And here's an 18-year-old kid still sitting in his car, still about half an hour away from the ground.
On your debut game?
On my debut game, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I've never been late anywhere since.
Yeah.
I think the next week we ended up playing Collingwood and I was there before the reserve boys. So I've never turned up. Best lesson in life I've ever learned.
Yeah. And how'd you go your first game?
Can't remember.
You can't remember? It was just a big blur, would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you have a win? Did you beat the Bombers?
Yeah, we beat the Bombers. That was Matty Lappin took Mark of the Year in the first couple of minutes in the forward pocket. Watching the game back, I can now remember. I didn't do too well. I played on Michael Long, who was just a superstar at that stage. And I'm running around looking at him just in awe and, Bradley and Silvani and Koutafidis, and it was a dream come true. So to get that out the way was nice, and then we could sort of settle in and play some footy the week after.
Then a couple of years after that, you've snuck over to and played for West Adelaide, and that was pretty much on the voice and talks with AFL football clubs to say go over, play in Adelaide and see if we can get you back at perhaps another club. So
yeah, absolutely. Getting delisted was again one of the hardest things you deal with. You think you're going to play there forever, and to get that news a day after winning the equivalent of the McGarry medal, the JJ Liston, was really tough.
The day after you received that,
so I won that on the Monday and got delisted on the Tuesday. So that was tough.
Yeah.
But then I just wanted to play footy. I thought I was a chance to get redrafted, so I spoke to a lot of people, and the best chance for me to do that was come and play in South Australia, and I got that opportunity.
And you had a super year with Westies.
Yeah, had a really good year and loved it.
And a chance of being redrafted, or wasn't much?
I ended up getting an opportunity to go back and do a pre-season with Collingwood.
Fantastic.
Which was pretty exciting, and again, I put my best foot forward, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
And then we moved on.
Wow. And then you went then played in Darwin.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
played in Darwin. So that was you played the season over there.
Yeah, didn't ever intend on playing in Darwin at that stage. My dad went home and sooked and cried like a little schoolgirl and said I was never going to play football again.
Is that right? You threw that one down?
So Dad said, look, go away, go to Darwin, do some fishing. Had some friends and family in Darwin at that stage. So jumped on a plane and flew to Darwin, and he'd posted my mouthguard and my footy boots, and they picked me up at the airport and took me to the local footy club, Waratahs.
Yeah.
And I trained on the Thursday night, and they'd already put the permit through for me to play on the Saturday, and that 2-week holiday turned into about 12 weeks in Darwin.
Oh, fantastic. And you nearly won the medal there as well. I think you got second on that one.
Probably should have.
Probably should have.
Only played 7 games, so 6 threes and a 2 probably hurt me.
Then back to Adelaide. So you picked your kit bag up. You thought, right, now I'm ready to go back to Adelaide. You joined
again, never intended on coming back to Adelaide. Yeah. It was only ever going to be 1 year. I still had some stuff in Melbourne that I was working on and relationships and things in Melbourne. But yeah, David Noble ended up speaking to my best mate who was living in Darwin at that time.
Yep.
And he sort of said, well, if you get Brett to come, then I might think about coming. So then they rang me and I said, well, if you get Heath to come, then I'll come.
Yeah.
So there was meetings in airports and all sorts of things. And then we finally both made the decision that, all right, we'll come and spend a year or 2 in Adelaide and play for the Glenelg Footy Club, and ended up staying there for nearly 10.
It seems like a great club, Glenelg. I'm sure Westies was as well, but... I've got friends who are playing it, or their sons are playing it at the moment. It just seems like a good club. Must have been a great place to go to.
And again, there's not many bad clubs.
Of course,
bar probably Port Adelaide, which digs deep into you. Footy clubs are great. When you're in them, they're great. When you're not, you're not.
Yeah, of course.
But Glenelg's really special.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, the people. Even going down there with you last Monday night and watching the atmosphere in the game of footy, and it's a really special community vibe and a little seaside town. So, I love the Glenelg Footy Club.
Mate, let me tell you, your career is just absolutely outstanding, and I mean, every club just must hold you in such high esteem. Everywhere you've played at, you've just given everything you've got, and as you mentioned, you play at your best to your ability, and you've certainly done that, and you've done it as a coach, but you also, your inspiration to your own players and even people around you is phenomenal and absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for being part of my blast from the past.
It's a pleasure to come and
chat with
fellow
McGarry
medalist.
That's it. I love that. We're back after the break.